Hey, and we're back. Kill the Cat Radio, Sharp Teeth, episode 17. Thanks for staying with us this whole time, guys. It's been a wonderful ride. My name is Matthew Diabate. I've got my bass guitar over here. You guys haven't seen that one before. Play the bass, playing the bass, playing the bass. Hey, we got the strange statue, the hat, and our featured book is Charles Bukowski's Ham on Rye. It's all about his sort of true to life experiences of growing up being a total social outcast. Some of you might be able to relate to this. His trials and tribulations, just being an outsider, and when he finally learned about writing and the first time he ever took a drop of alcohol, probably at too young of an age. We got the 90s clipboard here as usual, not typed up. You guys are going to enjoy what we're doing for episode 17. This is the sex episode. Ooh, sex episode. But don't worry, for anybody who's got a family listening to this fine episode, there's no explicit materials. This channel's not made for children, okay? We're talking about adults. That's why it's 17 plus, okay, to get into this movie theater. Let's just get started right away. I want to congratulate our 53 subscribers. Thank you all. God, I remember when I just had 5. I was so excited. I think it was me, my mom, a fake account, someone else, and we've just been growing ever since. Things will be just fine. You too can have your own YouTube video. I also want to say hello to the 86% of you who are watching who have not subscribed. What are you waiting for? Please hit the little button below. We'll discuss you guys a little bit later in the talkback section. Don't worry. Peace and love, kids. Peace and love. Couple disclaimers before we start. This is specifically about New York City. I've been living in New York City for almost 18 years now, so I can only explain myself through my understanding of what New York City is today and what it was when I first moved here and the changes that have applied in the sexual spheres. So I don't know what it's like in your town. You guys can figure that out for yourselves. Make your own YouTube videos. But for this episode, this specifically has to do with New York City lifestyle. Second disclaimer, I have to say that I'm coming from a straight man's perspective. I don't know anything about what it's like to be a gay man. I don't know what it's like to be a lesbian woman. I don't know what it's like to be a bisexual person, etc., etc. All the stuff I'm going to talk about is from a straight man's perspective. I could already see people tuning out. Straight people? We can't stand those people anymore. Who are straight people? People are straight? What? There's straight people here in New York? I didn't notice. So the first theme in this sexual episode is generational changes. Now, this really tripped me out when I read this. You guys can look this up and Google it. What you're going to find is that the generation now, the young generation, we're talking like of sexual age of like teenagers to maybe 25 years old. Apparently this generation, I don't know what you call them, Z or generation start over, whatever it is. Apparently this generation, the new guys coming up on the block here, no pun intended, are having less sex than any generation before us. Think about that. Less sex than the entire history of sexual encounter. They've done studies. Okay, they studied the sexual activities of people before, right when psychoanalytic stuff started coming around. And apparently, this generation is having less sex than most generations before us. Just let that set in. That is insane. We could talk about birth rates, how they're declining. We could talk about the rise of social media, social isolation, COVID restrictions, etc., etc., etc. But why do you guys think this is? What would your answer be? Put it in the talkback section down below. What's going on here? If you're not having sex, what are you doing? Just Netflixing and chilling and not sexing? Is that what it is? Are you guys so discernible that it's beneath you to practice an ancient primal behavior? I can only talk about what my generation was. I come from the 90s when I became in maturity. So it was right around 1995. I was 18 years old. At that point, we had sex ed classes. It was very basic, just reproduction, how it happened, what was going on. Also, there was condoms distributed in the schools, so that's good. So we were practicing a lot of safe sex. Hey, even the gangster rappers were saying, throw on a condom, son. You know, if Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre are telling you to wear condoms, I mean, that was an interesting time. Plus, you have to remember that it was the AIDS epidemic when we were coming up. So if you had sex, we were basically taught, you're going to die. You're just going to die. Like, that's it. Penetrate somebody without a condom, get AIDS, die. Now, of course, times have changed, and we were having as much sex, maybe not as much as the 80s generation. A lot of cocaine was going on there. 70s and the 60s, sexual liberation, all that stuff. All accounts from when I talk to old guys and gals about what was going on there. You just meet somebody, just kind of smile, do a little dance, make a little love, get out tonight. Are those the words? Get out tonight? I don't know. You know, our girlfriends, my girlfriends, all were very sexually liberated. They knew about the orgasm. They were educated about this. Everybody knew about safe sex and the practices thereof. We knew about birth control. We were educated on all the diseases and STDs that you could get. There were free clinics everywhere. Watch the movie Reality Bites if you want to think about sexual behavior. Like Ethan Hawke's character is kind of like that 90s Gen Xer, sort of like, yeah, man, don't really care. But he's like sleeping with everybody and doesn't even care. And then Janine Garofalo's character, right? Remember that? Really nervous because she's like counting all the different people she had sex with, and she was really scared she was going to get HIV. That was the 90s. God, I was so bored in the 90s. When I look at the generations now, I think I lived through a fantastic time. Most of our music, yes, all of our musicians killed themselves, but it was still pretty fun. And we looked at the 70s like, wow, that was a really cool time to be alive. Thank you, 70s people. I was born in the 70s, so Carter generation. But my question is, what is going on with these younger people? I've read some articles that apparently the rise of pornography was the reason why people are choosing self-love, I suppose, these days. But trust me, in the 90s, we had our own pornography too. We couldn't find it on the computer. We had to, you know, steal it from our grandfather's basement or find it in the woods. Or I'm not going to go into any of that stuff with you guys because this is a family program. Just kidding. It's not. What went wrong here? It's not the act of sex that changed. I think it's the people that changed. I ask you youngsters, what the F is going on? There are a couple theories. So many people are on mood stabilizers and personality pills, antidepressant pills, that maybe that's the cause of why people are just losing interest in sex. Weed's legal now, right? Weed's legal in most states, and marijuana is known for decrease of sexual appetite, increase in eating, decrease in down below stuff. You know what I mean? Is that what it is? Please, if you have an opinion about this topic, write it in the comment section. Moving on to part 2 of the sex episode here. There is a very bizarre activity going on here in New York City, which I call the sexlessness of the city. So remember when that stupid show came out, Sex in the City? Oh yeah, let's talk about all the people we want to sleep with, and the girls are all out there and they're going to get their Magnolia, what is it, Magnolia Bakery, you know, hey, let's get our bakery and then go to the club and wear chain purses and find some guy with some money to have sex with. Awesome. Okay, that was like what, like late 90s, early zeros, whatever. And then you had the next generation had Lena Dunham, you know, that child molester. Lena Dunham's Girls, which I thought was the worst addition to the sexual activity of the zeros and the tens. It was just kind of gross, and there was barely any romance whatsoever. And I know it's kind of funny coming from the straight male romance. Yes, we like it too sometimes. We enjoy the flirtation. We enjoy a little dance. We'll get into that in point 3. And of course, like any proper philosopher thinking about what is going on in the world today, I went back to my university days, and I remember studying feminist theory, and there was something called the male gaze. Gaze, to not be confused. The male gaze. So to give you guys just a very, very roughshod idea of what the male gaze actually is in their theory, in feminist theory, basically it's the male gaze in media and commercials and movies and in books. Basically, when women are depicted in these forms of media and art, they're only depicted sort of one-dimensionally. So either they are one-sided characters there to prop up the male character, or they're there for like sexually explicit behavior. Think like any 80s movie, you know, there's always just random women just naked, just randomly. Like it was like a prerequisite to throw in just tits anywhere you wanted, right? And usually they were the really bad, like fake 80s tits. That's what I call them, the 80s tits, you know? I don't know. You know what I mean if you watch any kind of action movie from that time period. And even in the 90s, there was a little bit of that, but there was that generational shift, which I actually appreciate. Like, why would you just have a random naked woman in your movie? I agree with that idea kind of the male gaze. But what happened was that slowly people started to judge men, I think at this stage of the study of this topic, anytime a man was attracted to a woman, it was regarded as offensive or objectifying. A lot of women, sure, they would kind of shy away. They didn't have to slap on and all the makeup like in the 80s, just look like a clown. A lot of women in the 90s were much more subtle, Sure, they'd skateboard by day, but then throw on a little eyeliner, like a little bit of lipstick, very subtle. And I enjoy that subtlety. I think that's a really cool thing. Again, going back to the 90s, maybe I'm just missing my youth, but it just seemed like a simpler time. Nobody wants to be objectified. Nobody wants to feel like there's some pieces of meat or there's there for some commodity or what have you. I would want my character to be interesting. I would want people to like me for my mind. I would like people to like me for my merits and talents. I would like people to respect me in the workplace as an equal, of course. But you could start seeing the shift starting to begin there, that sort of third wave feminism. If the male did have or use any kind of sexuality or like flirtation or what have you with a woman, it started, there was pushback there. Now, what no one ever talks about, the alternative to this theory of the male gaze, the female gaze, G-A-Z-E. Now, I remember back in the 90s in the university system, this was brought up to me by my professors, the lady professors, saying there's no such thing as the female gaze. Ladies, it's bullshit. I'll give you a couple very easy examples. All right, remember all those romance covers? Any of those covers from those romance books were the men just like fat, scary, kind of bulbous men with their necks hanging down? Did any of them look like Richard Nixon? No. They look like Fabio, or they look very well-fit guys. They're doing pretty good. So women still looked at men in a sexual way when they found someone attractive. How many times does a woman have to say, well, he's got a good butt? What are you guys even using the butt for? I mean, okay, I don't even want to know. I've always wondered this, like why women are like, well, their butt looks good in the jeans. It's like, okay, well, what are you going to do with it? As I said, straight male, don't get it, okay? But my point is that women looked at guys and they're like, he's hot. Look at any of those movies that were coming out. Look at Heathers, the movie. Look at Clueless. Look at all those movies. There'd always be girls saying, he's cute, he's hot. Why do you think all those girls, when the Beatles came over for the first time, were screaming and fainting, or when Elvis started moving his hips back and forth? Okay, there is something called the female gaze. Let's not pretend that both the male and the female like to look at something and they are stimulated by someone who's attractive. What's wrong with that? Or at least attractive to them. I have a very distinct look that I like in women. I'll admit it. I have a distinct, look, very different versions of it, but it's, what do they say? Same woman, 1,000 different faces. But if you're going to sit there, ladies, and tell me that attractiveness of a male has nothing to do with looks when you first meet them, you are lying to yourself, okay? As I said, nobody should objectify anyone. Everybody should be treated equally. Everybody wants to be heard. Everyone has feelings, men and women. The more we understand that and create less differences, the more everybody will be able to get together in a proper way. And maybe people could start, you know what I'm saying? Fucking. But let me tell you something. When I said that point 2 of this sex episode is about sexlessness, when I look around today, I see men dressing very, very gender neutral, and I see women dressing very gender neutral. You know where they also did that? Have you guys ever read the novel 1984 by George Orwell? Have you guys ever studied the Soviet Union? Everybody just looked exactly the same. Screw that. If you were in the workplace and you don't want to have anybody, look at you untowardly, of course, dress neutrally, right? Okay, but just every day, just walking around completely neutral, I don't want to live in that world. When I look around today and I see what's going on television, and I see what's going on in the media, and I see what's happening even on my own street out here, it is just neutral. And that's cool, I guess, which leads me to ask the question, maybe that's why no one is having sex. It's because they are putting out a non-sexual vibe. I mean, what is clothing really? Think about like bird feathers, or just if you watch a nature video, okay? There's always these little clues you're kind of trying to send off to the other people around you in society and in your hunting grounds, if you will. How you look is expressing how you feel and what you want others to feel about you. In the realm of frumpiness, and I'll get into that later, and this is on the male and the female side, it is everywhere. So maybe that's the cause of this generational gap between absolute non-sexual behavior and a whole bunch of people not engaging in any fun whatsoever, you know, as they say, between the sheets, which leads me very easily into point 3, New York City and sexuality. Oh man, when I moved here, yes, there were very different areas and very different neighborhoods that you could go to if you were looking for certain people that you would like to hook up with, or if you just wanted to have a good time with. You don't have to sleep with that person that day. You don't have to go around having one night stands. I never had no one night stand until I moved to New York City, for Christ's sake. I was always a boyfriend guy, boyfriend-girlfriend guy, kind of monogamous, you know, serial monogamous type. But when I moved here, oh boy, was it wild. People were having sex with everybody, okay? If you wanted to go to a certain neighborhood, let's say you were a gay dude or if you were a lesbian lady, there are places you could go that you could definitely have sex with whoever you wanted to have sex with. There was at least the flirtation. There was that interesting dance that human beings do with each other. In a nutshell, New York City was a bastion of sexual freedom. So, you know, I'll tell you a funny story. First bar I ever worked in, the real bar that I ever worked in here in Brooklyn. Okay, it was pretty much an everybody bar. What do I mean everybody bar? First shift, I worked there. It was 3 p.m. in the afternoon. I looked over and saw two, what I would consider people who look like my grandfather, two old dudes making out. Doesn't bother me at all. I just was surprised. I was like, okay, cool. This is where I'm working here. And then I looked over and then there's these two kind of punk rock chicks making out. I was like, all right, 3:30 p.m. Monday afternoon. Okay, what's going on over here? And then in the back of the bar, this straight couple was trying to mac out on the pool table. So I was like, wait a minute, what is this bar? I looked at my boss and he said, this is an everybody bar. There's no, and this is before gay marriage was legalized in the United States of America. It was very eye-opening and enlightening to me because, you know, there were gay bars that was for like, definitely like hooking up, what have you, very specific. But I felt kind of proud. I was proud. I had pride. The fact that I worked at a place that accepted everybody. So people would call up and be like, hey, is your bar a gay bar? And I was instructed by my boss to say, no, friend, it's an everybody bar, but you're more than welcome to come in happy hours between the hours of 3 and 8 p.m. Come on and get wasted. Even people now, when they talk about sexual freedom and such, in New York City, at least, we've been doing this forever. I don't think there's been any judgment about who you sleep with or who you are or who you believe you are or what you want to identify with. There was none of these talks or issues or anything like this. In New York City, you do whatever you want. It was the bastion of sexual energy and freedom, probably in all of the world at that time too. And it's so funny how times have changed. But New York City, this is where you came to just be who you gotta be, and nobody cared. So if you're just some straight guy like me, you'd be a bartender at certain other bars, or just, you know where to go. You go to little dance places, right? Listen to some cool TV on the radio, or yeahs, or some old school 70s R&B and funk music. You know, there would be places that were cool to go to. And then if you just threw yourself in the ring, danced around, had some fun, met some people, you too could make a lot of friends. And this is, again, before the rise of these terrible social media dating sites, which I think might be one of the causes of all the problems, if you think about it. Because then you can like pre-order who you want. And then if it's not that, you know, you have all these options. And, you know, it's a little too businesslike and capitalistic for my taste. There's a sense of danger in New York City. Who knew what was going to happen? You didn't know what you were going to do. But if you put yourself out there in the dating world, you probably could find somebody that would like you back. And you can meet and have fun. And, or if you just wanted to be the slut of the world, you could be the slut of the world and nobody cared. So now it just seems kind of weird because I'm living here in New York City and I'm going, okay, you see people out here being like, pride this, pride that. I'm going, guys, we've already had pride for over 70 years here in New York City. You know, you had the vitality and you paid the money to live here because you wanted the vitality of that. Rock and roll shows every night, hip hop shows every night, whatever you wanted, you could get here. And unfortunately, now post-COVID, it's 2023, times have changed. I don't know what's going on. Maybe people moved away. So now New York is all about the price and none of the vitality, which is very, very, very sad. But folks, that's why you moved here. That's why you came to New York City, because you wanted to experience everything you possibly could experience. If you came from some small podunk town, you could come here, go around, do things you would never be able to do. Look how you want, be how you want. The freedom was unbelievable. I went to a bar the other day. I looked pretty good, I have to say. I looked pretty good. I kind of was like wearing one of these. I was cool. I was very friendly. People were even scared to talk to each other. Everybody was on their phones. Frankly, it was boring. I cannot believe that the day would come 18 years later that I would say New York was boring. You know how sad that makes me feel? Yes, we got dope museums. We got the best museums around. The MoMA's fantastic. The Met's fantastic. I love our subway systems. No matter, people get murdered on them all the time, but I still love our subway systems. Food's available, whatever you like. Some places kind of have closed down after COVID, but you can still find a 24-hour Greek diner somewhere if you want. It just brings a tear to the eye to know that my precious city advocating constant freedom and pride and everything when we've already had it. And you know who's doing it the most? The people who just moved here. It's like, ladies and gents, let me give you a little hint. It's New York City. We already had this handled, just like we had it handled in the 90s. Okay? Just because you're new to the game doesn't mean it hasn't been going on for quite some time now. Almost a century, so I don't want to hear this shit. Who's at fault here? What's the real problem here? Is it media? Is it this? Is it that? Is it technology? Is it just a lack of culture? Is it the suburban values slowly creeping into the big city itself? Well, I think I know one of the conspirators of this terrible, terrible affliction, and that brings us to the creep of the week. Creep of the week. Okay, I know who the creep of the week is. As I said, never has to be a person, place, or thing. Could be all three. This is more of a concept. And that concept, my friends, is the fashion industry. What have you done to our youngsters? What have you done? What have you done? I heard a quote somewhere that said fashion never really dies. And if you think about it, it doesn't. It's always changing and kind of evolving. Well, it should. It should die. Fashion never dies. Kill it. Kill it now. End it. I'll give you two examples of what I'm talking about. First of all, these people are overpaid, overprivileged, and total idiotic and contribute nothing to the actual function of society whatsoever. I had the misfortune of working Fashion Week as a production assistant a couple times. It is the most tense, scary, crazy activity you could do. People work 3 days straight, no sleep, just to build up some of these fashion shows over there in Chelsea. People are yelling at each other. Everybody's rude. I mean, they fly in 15-year-old models from Latvia. I mean, it's disgusting. All for what? A 5-minute runway show. And then it's over. And then you spend 3 days taking it all down. Now, admittedly, I got paid pretty good. So hey, if you get paid, great. But the amount of money that's spent on a 5-minute runway fashion little thing here in New York City probably could save like a third world country from poverty for at least like a month, right? But these people have to sit there and look really cool to show off these really, really shitty fashion designs that no one really can afford or want or buy. And then it just happens every year. And it's this torturous experience that occurs in the fall here in New York City. It's disgusting. It's full of ego, arrogance, and frankly, which leads me to my next point, it's not beautiful at all. You are the creep of the week. Creep of the week. It's creepy. It's creepy. Who's into this stuff? It's weird. I understand that there's money there, and that's cool. And fashion can be very interesting as long as, to me, it's practical, it's beautiful, but also, a little daring. I don't mind that. I'm not an idiot. I dig the art of it. But where we are today in fashion, look at any fashion magazine you'll see. And it's something called the uglification of people. Second point about the creep of the week is I remember me and my sister were sitting there. And this is Williamsburg, probably 2006. We were sitting there and we saw all these beautiful women, sauntering by down the boulevard. And they were very, very pretty. And my sister made an interesting point. She said something to the effect of, God, why do all these really, really beautiful women go out of their way to look really, really, really ugly? We're talking just like these women were like model types, like 6 foot, skinny, great. You know, they had grace. They were moving fantastically. And they might as well have been wearing like garbage bags on their bodies. Now, I get it. It was a style then. The problem is we are now at the logical conclusion now in 2023 of this horrid experiment in fashion. Okay. My sister called it dog butt. It's like you have a beautiful dog, but all you're showing is the dog's nasty little butt as it saunters down the street. Dog butt fashion. I like that. Dog butt. Good job, Laura. Uglification of people. When did this become a trend? Now, if you wander the streets of Williamsburg, Brooklyn, you've got people, and again, hold on. I know what you're going to say. You think I'm going to be judgmental. I will be a little bit. Let's just say these people are not models. These people are not, the camera will not appreciate them. Is it vanity? Sure, a little bit. But even before I put myself on camera so you guys can watch me, I had to lose weight because the camera does not lie. So when I say they weren't models, I'm just saying they weren't camera ready. Let's put it that way. So most of these people who live here now certainly are not camera ready, and they're wearing garbage bags or potato sacks, or they do that. They dress like Ghostbusters, you know, those onesies when they shouldn't, because it's like that style of dress, you know, the onesie thing, you know, like it looks like you're about to work on a sink or something. You're a mechanic. What are those called? I don't know. Women, you guys tell me what they're called again. I can't remember. Or the mom jeans thing, you know, like the high-waisted jeans. That's not bad on certain figures, but it's almost like certain people have gone out of their way. And this is due to fashion. I guess it's kind of hip to just, if you don't look good, then just wear things that don't even look good. Don't even accentuate any positive. Don't even do your hair. Who gives a shit? Cut your hair in weird ways. I mean, I get it. I mean, like in the 90s, we had weird styles too, but at least we look cool doing it. But the mom jeans thing, just to take it back to that, because I'm like obsessed with that. If you look around, there are women who totally pull off the high-waisted things. You know what that's made for? That's made for women with like long torsos. You know what I mean? Like their butts are a little lower, and so they have a little bit of a long torso. So when they wear it down, it's a little too low. They end up looking like a Britney Spears video. You know, those like low-waisted jeans? Okay, that's cool. Okay, that's fine. And if you don't want to do that, that's cool too. What I'm saying is those jeans are made specifically for women of certain figures, just like there's other clothes made for other figures of women. And that's fine. We shouldn't judge anybody. But when women are purposely wearing things that do not fit them at all, so they already look like they just found them on the street and they're just like, oh, cool, free jeans. I'll just wear these around and do that or whatever. What are you trying to say with these clothes? Now, if you're trying to say, don't look at me, I don't want to talk to anybody, and I don't want to have sex with anybody, you're doing a good job. Like you're winning. Like I can't think of any straight male who would come near you. I mean, you don't even look like you wash, let alone have sex properly. So the philosophy of dog butt. There's no shame. There's no shame to it. I mean, you're not even accentuating. Look, not everybody's going to be a beautiful model on Instagram. Okay, we get that. But that's why they get paid that. And we do other things in our lives. But this whole new bizarre trend, and I think it's kind of an unhealthy trend because we do have mirrors in the world. Like, do you look at yourself when you go out in the daytime and say, hey, I feel great. I feel fantastic. I have greasy hair and no makeup. So I've got those lines under my eyes, and I have my men's shoes on, and this is bag lady chic. Is that what it is? Right? Anyways, I get it. And that's what I think the fashion industry is putting out. Just look at any magazine. You'll see, right? Just take a look. Just like really use your eyes. If you have eyes to see, use them. It is basically unisexual and even worse, anti-sexual, which could be the reason why this generation of every generation since the dinosaurs are having less sex than ever before. It's because everybody looks like dog butt. And that's the creep of the week. Fashion industry. All right, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. We are now at the talkback section. A couple of good points to bring up. Yes, Cinephilia, the little movie review portion, is coming out shortly. You guys are going to love it. I'll be putting that out on the YouTube Shorts portion, plus including it in these episodes that we're doing here on the Sharp Teeth episodes. If I dress different, it's because I recorded at a different time. So just go with it. Stay in school, kids. That portion is still going to be coming out soon as well. Again, I'll be dressing a little differently. Who cares what I wear? At least I'll be not looking dog butt-ish. And we come back to the question, who is not subscribing? I'm talking back now to you guys. If you guys are watching and you dig it and you have a Gmail address, you can just go to YouTube, press the subscribe button just right below, and it's free. You don't get spammed. You don't get anything from me. You don't have to spend any money or do anything like that. Just if you increase my readership and subscribe level, you're helping me, because when I get to 1,000, they're going to start paying me. YouTube is going to start paying me to do what we're doing now. So that means I can get better cameras, better microphones. I look cooler. I'll know better what's going on. The offices will change. This is the game. This is the game we play with YouTube. You don't lose a thing. So if you're watching this and have not subscribed and have a Gmail account, go to YouTube. It'll ask you to sign in. You're not going to get anything from YouTube. You're not going to get anything from me. All it's doing, because YouTube is connected with Google, you press subscribe. Bing, bing, bing. So the next time I see you guys here, I want 60 subscribers. And the next time after that, I want 70. But it's not what you want, Matthew. It's not all about you. Well, guess what? It's my YouTube and you. I'm trying to entertain you guys too by talking about these crazy issues that go on in our society. And I'm pretty proud of what we've done so far. If you really look at it, episode 17, I mean, we've covered a lot of different topics, and we will continue to cover a lot of topics. Just subscribe below. No big deal. It's as easy as 1, 2, subscribe. Thank y'all for tuning in yet again. We have over 2,000 hours that have been watched of this program since we started in March. It's about 3 months ago. That's not so bad. 17 episodes, 2,000 hours already watched. 53 subscribers. This is fantastic. I want to thank all of you out there for listening to me rant and rave about all manner of topics. You can always follow us at any of the social media platforms at Kill the Cat Radio. That's on the Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. It's been a real fun time. Thank you for subscribing. For those who have, please go out there and tell your friends, and I will see you for episode 18. I'm going to leave you guys to guess what we're going to be talking about, but I can assure you it'll be interesting. It'll be funny. It'll be serious. And then back to funny. This is Kill the Cat Radio, Sharp Teeth, episode 17. My name is Matthew Diabate, signing off.